You've got ideas, you've got ambition, you've got no time, or so you think. I'm Marissa Lonick, and I help busy moms with big dreams and no time. Join me each week as I dive into time management strategies, goal setting and achieving framework, and inspiring guests who are juggling mom life, work life, fill in the blank life. Dreams don't work unless you do, and just because you're a mom doesn't mean you can't still make it happen, whatever it means to you. Welcome to the Mama Work It podcast. Hey, mama friends. Welcome to another episode of the Mama Work It podcast. So glad you're here. Our guest today is Celia Kibler. Celia is a best-selling author, a family empowerment coach, and the founder of Pumped Up Parenting and Fun Fit Family Fitness. She is the mom of 5 kids, all in their 30s, 2 she gave birth to, and 3 she gained from marriage, as well as a grandma of 9. Celia has been successfully parenting a blended family for over 25 years. But most importantly, she is on a mission to stop 1 million parents from yelling at their kids. Amen, Celia. I want to be one of those million. Thank you so much for being here.
You're so welcome. I'm happy to be here, Marissa. Thank you so much.
Well, great. First things first, can you tell our listeners a little bit more about you and how you got started on this mission of helping parents stop yelling at their kids?
Happy to. So growing up as a child, although I had 2 wonderful parents and very loving parents, my father was physically and mentally abused as a child. And although he never physically abused us, he did bring the mental abuse into the family and had an extremely short temper, yelled a lot, called my mom names. And it caused all of us, me and my 3 siblings and my mom, to basically feel like we were never good enough. Nothing we did was good enough. We had very low confidence and we never felt worthy. And that's what, yelling causes to children. It really is so destructive in so many ways. And kids that get yelled at, they don't grow up hating their parents. They grow up hating themselves. So it just, as I was growing up and as I started to begin teaching my Fun Fit program in 1987, I went through decades and I started seeing the changing parenting trends of families. And because we teach young children and their parents, it's family fitness, so parents participate. So you see a lot of this. And I would say in the last 10, 15 years, things started to change. And I always had a passion for children. I always wanted them to live happy childhoods and stop parents from yelling. And I know it was hard to, but that kind of solidified it all. And I was like, the next transition is I need to get into this. I need to get into parenting, helping these parents, which I've been doing over the years anyway, because when you're a teacher, they kind of want to ask you as much as they can. And, really put a foundation in place so I can help parents stop yelling.
Yeah. What was your main motivation to become a parenting coach? Was it your own family?
It was that I saw a lot of dysfunctional families going on, a lot of dysfunctional relationships. And in my family, when I had my 2 children, and then back in 1995, we were adding 3 more to the mix, there had to be a way to make this work. And because I love kids so much, I didn't want it to be the type of thing that going through the divorce would adversely affect my children. I wanted them to feel as confident as they could going through a divorce, which is always, horrifying for children. And in the same light, once we started this combined family, I wanted the 3 kids that were coming into my home to feel comfortable, to feel wanted, loved, needed, and feel like they had a say in it all. They weren't just visitors, they were a family. So through all that and finding successful solutions through all of that, I knew that parenting coaching, it came natural to me. And it was something I just needed. I felt a huge desire to do for kids everywhere. And the only way to affect kids is clearly to empower their parents.
So I was reading your website, and your tagline for Pumped Up Parenting is because we're raising adults, not children. Tell us more about your philosophy there.
So basically, parents are always parents, parent with the future in mind. There's a lot of fear in parenting. If they don't do their homework, they can't get into college. If this happens, they can't do that. And um in the meantime, there's a lot of parents that believe their kids always have to be happy. I have to make them happy. They can't be bored. They can't do this. They want the latest and greatest. I need to get them the latest and greatest. And what happens is, we've created a generation of very entitled children because they just think they're always going to get their way. And then what happens is they grow up, they go to college, and things are no longer handed to them. Things are no longer given to them. And they have no idea how to handle disappointment. I always tell parents one of the most important muscles in their body. I'm from a fitness background. I have a fitness company for children. One of the most important muscles in the body that you need to exercise is the disappointment muscle and their waiting muscle. Because if they just expect everything to come to them now, well, welcome to life. When things don't always go your way, what are they going to do with that? Because things will not always go their way, and they have to learn to deal with it and really, move on and decide there's another way. So let me figure out the other way to make this work, since it didn't work this way, instead of just having a breakdown.
Yeah. I mean, you're essentially preparing them for life, right?
Exactly. Everything you do as a parent prepares them for their individual adult success. And do you want that to be, you know, tragedy? You want it to be, addiction? Do you want it to be, somebody who can't even feel confident enough to go get a job and support themselves? Or do you want them to be self-sufficient, happy, kind, generous, confident adults? And it's all up to
Yeah.
you.
Oh, love that. All right. One of your books is called Raising Happy Toddlers: How to Build Great Parenting Skills and Stop Yelling at Your Kids. Now, I think any mom listening right now who has a toddler or who has had a toddler can attest that the toddler years are rough. And if you're a mom, yes.
Or challenging.
And if you're a mom listening whose baby hasn't hit the toddler years yet, then girl, get ready. So personally, I have
The fun has
absolutely.
only begun.
So personally, I have found myself in situations when my older two were toddlers or with my current toddler where I just feel like I can do nothing right, from not cutting the sandwich the right way to not giving my son the right color cup to, I don't know, breathing. I mean, I find that his frustration then causes me to feel frustrated, and thus sometimes the yelling starts. So, can you share some tips for us toddler moms on how to manage this better?
Absolutely. The key to having children is understanding children. And in my Raising Happy Toddlers book, I actually wrote it like a manual because, you hear parents all the time say, kids don't come with manuals. Why don't kids come with manuals? So I wrote one. So, that way you can look up anything in it and it tells you what to do this and this will happen. A lot of people say to me, it was like magic. You told me to do this. I did this and my kid did it. And, it was like magic because I offer those kind of tips. But one of the important things to remember is that the human brain does not fully develop until said human is 25 years old. 25 years old. So when you think about that, think about the toddler brain. The toddler brain, when you're like, my toddler's, it's like he's working with half a deck. He is working with half a deck because he basically has half a brain. And the brain All the stuff that's in this brain, this won't shock you, is emotion. Happiness, disappointment, mad, sad, angry, run the gamut. You've seen every toddler run the gamut of emotion. They go from being the happiest child in the world to being the most miserable child in the world. And all the drama begins. That's because that's how they're wired. What they're not wired for is self-regulation of those emotions, being using their logic. There is no logic. So, when parents expect their toddler to respond to them like an adult, it's not just difficult for them, it's impossible for them to respond like an adult. It is not in there. So, our job as parents is to help them learn how to deal with their emotions. When a child hits or throws things or bites or throws a tantrum, that is merely an innate response to that emotion. That is just how they respond. There's no reason to it. They just do it. So our job is to help them learn different ways to respond to emotions. And that's one of the biggest things you can help a child conquer is understanding them, understand where they're coming from, and helping them deal with all those emotions.
Yeah. So having a better understanding, absolutely. And I think we all need that manual for sure.
I hope you do.
So most of our listeners are busy working moms, juggling mom life, work life, wife life, fill in the blank life. And to be honest, it can be tough after working a full day when you're tired, you're stressed, to feel like you can parent really well. How can you still deliver your best as a parent when you're getting home from work, you're trying to get dinner on the table, the bath's done, the bedtime routine, the house cleaned up, and everything ready for the next day? How can you turn your evenings into less chaos and more calm?
Well, first, I want to remind moms everywhere, parents everywhere, to give yourself grace, give yourself a break. I mean, we're all human. Your children are human. So we all have good days and bad days. And on bad days, sometimes things don't go as planned. And is that the end of the world? No. And if you accidentally yell at your child, you can apologize. You can say, "You know what, honey, I had a terrible day. I should not have taken it out on you. I'm sorry I yelled." I teach children, I teach parents how not to yell at their children. I have a challenge going on right now on Facebook of how not to do it. It doesn't mean you are going to be perfect 100% of the time. It doesn't mean you will never yell again. Even I have yelled in my past. so so first of all, give yourself grace. Second of all, the more routines you have in place, the more schedules you have in the place, and the more you let your children help you. Children should know that the responsibility of being part of this family is also the responsibility of things that need to get done. We need to keep our house organized. We need to clean up. We need to fix meals. We need to do all these things. Let them help. And especially if they ask you to help. Very often parents will be fixing a meal and their 2-year-old will come in and say, and they'll want to help. And the mommy will say, "Oh, no, go play. I've got this," or whatever. Or they'll do it to an 8-year-old. Let them help. 2-year-olds can stir something, they can mix something, they can put something on the table. Let them help. He's now 3, my grandson, when I'm at my daughter's house, he helps me load the dishwasher. I don't give him sharp knives, but other than that, he helps me load and he loves it. Kids love to help. And if you turn them down every time they ask, they're going to stop asking. And you're going to be sitting there with a 10-year-old and you're going to be like, "Will you help?" And they'll be like, "No." And why? Because you never let them help when they wanted to. Make it part of the family so that everything does not lay on your shoulders. If they have to pack, if bags have to be packed for the morning, it's their responsibility to pack their bag. You do your stuff, they do their stuff. They pick out their clothes. Make things a joint effort and it will help alleviate all the stress of I'm coming home from work, I'm tired, and now I got to do 900 more things.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. When my third son was born, we actually talked to a parenting coach who said something very similar, and it worked really well in our house. We had toddlers at the time, we had a new baby, and we had them actually do responsibility popsicle sticks where they had to choose one and take up that responsibility that day. It gave them ownership, it made them feel proud, and we got help. I mean, it was just such a win-win. So I'm in total agreement. We all have jobs in this house. Whose job it is to
Right.
vacuum, whose job it is to help fold the clothes. The clothes do not get folded as neatly as I'd like, but they're folded. So, yes. So I'll
But they're
take it.
folded.
I'll take it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And exactly. I have a great game in the Pumped Up Parenting Facebook group. Um, I have a lot of different ways to make family life a fun life, and I have, this game called the dice game, and basically you take a die, and there's a chart. It's like if you get a 1, you're vacuuming, get a 2, you're dusting, whatever, similar to what you played, and the 6th day is always a free day, and, when my 2 grandkids were living with me for a couple of years, we used to play it when they got home from school, and they loved it. And honestly, the first day I played it, the older one, who at the time was 8, rolled a 6 and got a free day. And Mason, my little one, who was 4 at the time, he rolled a 1. So he did whatever job that was. And then he was like, "Oh my gosh, well, Logan got a 6. I want a 6." He rolled everyone. He did not get a 6 until the very end, but he did everything. He rolled it. I was like, "Woo, my house is clean." I mean, it's
Yeah.
clean by a 4-year-old, but hey,
Yeah.
that's a lot cleaner than it was when we started this game. So, if you can make it fun,
Yes.
you'll get the job
Yes,
done. Very
definitely.
rhymey. I like to rhyme.
So you are a mompreneur, right? Even though your kids are older now, you've had your own business since 1987 and you were raising your family at the same time while you were growing that business to what it is today. How did you manage that?
Exactly. I actually had another business prior to FunFit. And so when my daughter was born in 1982, I was a business owner then too. And so basically like I can't express enough how golden schedules and routines are. You got to have schedules, you got to have routines. Toddlers
Yes.
thrive, babies thrive, for that matter, adults thrive on routines. You have to have routines in place. And then those routines are part of your daily schedule. And your schedule needs to include everything in it. Don't like miss something out. And a really important part is to make sure you're giving yourself like 10 to 15-minute breaks from your work to be with your child. That's all they need. That's all they need to know that your attention is for them, that you care about them, you care what's going on. And then after that 10, 15-minute break, they'll play on their own very nicely. They won't be demanding that positive attention because you gave it to them. And and you have to do that balance throughout the day. And honestly, taking a break is good for the human brain at any age. It refreshes you. It gives you, a new look at things. I mean, how many times have you walked away from something you've been working on for hours? You walked away and you came back, you're like, oh, here's the problem. So we all need breaks, but really spend that valuable time with your children. And I really tried to work as much as I could during like nap times and sleep times. And so that there was a true balance with the kids, my time with them and, my time without them.
Yeah, those are all great tips, and I'm in total agreement. That's what keeps this house running here. Schedules and routines. I have 4 little kids, and without that, we would definitely, be having some rougher days than what we're experiencing now in this pandemic as we record this. So,
Exactly, and the nice thing about schedules and routines too is if you have a day that you're thrown off from it, or maybe, family's visiting, or you've got, you're taking a trip somewhere. Once schedules and routines are in place, they're very easy to snap back to. So if you have a day that's totally throws everyone off, they comfortably go back into a schedule routine that they're used to. So it's really important. And if you have little older kids, help them, let them help you make that schedule and routine. Let them
Yes.
get involved in it. And they love it. They love the involvement.
Yeah. So there are a lot of parenting coaches out there, but what sets you apart from the others?
I would say one of the biggest things that set me apart is my experience. So, my daughter will be, hard to believe, 39 this year. And so I have been parenting, real life parenting, for almost 40 years. I have parented a blended family. I have had my stepchildren deal with drugs and alcohol abuse and jail and, you know, they uh, almost every gamut that a parent can face, I have faced it with successful solutions. And my gift is that I really know children. I'm really like a toddler in an old person body. So it's just how my mind works. Like, people go find your inner child. I have to find my inner grown up, you know. So I just know what they like. I know how they think. I know how kids operate. And I just have this connection with them. And I offer results. So, like I said about my book, I mean, I just give you tips. Do this. I don't spend a lot of time like, let's go into the psychological things that are going to happen if you do this. Let's not do this. Do this, and it will work. And it does. So I really find, I do 90-day coaching programs, and usually by the first week, there are results. Whatever you're trying to fix, we fix something in the first week. And it's because I give advice that works. And I don't, nobody wants to spend years getting something to work. If you wait around getting something to work, your child's on to the next stage. So
Right.
let's get things resolved now and get them fixed.
Oh, I love that. I mean, that's the style we all need. We all need just direct, efficient effectiveness. We don't have time for the fluff. We just want the results, and we want to do kind of the most efficient way to get there. So that's amazing.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, Celia. Well, we are moving on to the lightning round of this podcast.
Okay.
Yes.
It's like, what is it like Jeopardy or they're like,
So what
yeah.
I'm going to do next is ask you some random, just for fun type questions, just so our listeners can get to know you a little bit more on a personal level. Are you ready?
Go for it, Marissa. Shoot 'em at me.
What is your guilty pleasure TV show?
Well, so when I was in college, The Young and the Restless and the Bold and Beautiful came onto TV. And I have watched it from its beginning, and I record it all the time. And late at night, I watch Bold and the Beautiful and Young and the Restless. I've watched it for 40 years, forever. I graduated college in 79. So whenever it
That's
started, I've been
amazing. You
watching
are
it.
a true fan.
I know it's crazy. But what's great about it is if you miss like a year of it, it doesn't matter. Nothing ever happens. So it's a good show to watch because if I'm too busy, I haven't missed
That's
anything.
great. Would you call yourself an introvert or an extrovert?
I'm probably the extrovert. I don't. I can get shy in like big rooms, but I, I'm like excessively happy, and so I have endless energy, and if I drink coffee, forget about it. I'm like on the run, but I'd say I'm an extrovert. I'll pretty much talk to anyone, but mostly children. I am most comfortable with children. Probably because they don't criticize, they don't judge. Even when I sing, they're good with that. So, unlike my children who are like, Mom, stop rhyming, stop singing, So, I'd say I'm an
All
extrovert.
right. What if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life? What would it be? Calories don't count.
So funny you said that because I'm at my daughter's house every week because I sleep over on Tuesdays and I watch her kids on Wednesday. And my granddaughter, who is 7, is into this. What if, like, would you rather? Oh, it's would you rather? Would you rather do this or do this? So we do this like every time at dinner. And her last question to me on Wednesday was, would you rather eat eggs? I adore eggs, or sushi. And I love sushi. And I'm like, geez, I honestly don't know what I want both. I said, but I probably would. What was the question?
What is the one food you would eat for the rest of your life if it was the only food you could eat?
Oh, I would eat for the rest of my life. Eggs or sushi? I don't. Sushi with eggs in it.
Very creative. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Probably eggs, because I can prepare eggs. I can't prepare sushi. So I love the incredible edible egg. It's just so many fun ways to eat it, and I absolutely love eggs. So
yeah. And by the way, we have a book like that in this house, and my 7-year-old twins, that's like their favorite thing to do during breakfast. We read all those crazy questions. A lot of them are disgusting, but they make me answer them.
I know my 3-year-old grandson will do it. He'll be like, would you rather eat a house or would you rather eat like an airplane? I'm like, I guess a house because it's got more wood, you know. I know, they love that game.
All right. What is your cocktail of choice?
I don't drink. So my cocktail of choice is water and coffee.
Okay.
Mixed. And in my coffee, I like coffee in my coffee. And I just don't drink because I just don't. I've never really. I mean, I did some in college, but I was a lightweight, and I just don't like it. I guess I just plain don't like it. So I don't really have a cocktail of choice unless it's water or coffee, which makes me a lifelong designated driver. And that's, I spent college being a designated driver.
Yeah.
I'm a good friend to have and a cheap date.
You are. You are.
Give me some eggs and coffee. I'm good.
If you could go on vacation tomorrow anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
It would be the Outer Banks of North Carolina, because I guess I've been taking my family there forever. I love it there. It's like calm, quiet, peace, and I feel at home. And see, I'm not very exotic, am I? Like I'm not Fiji. I'm like very like whatever, but I love that place. And in fact, I'm redoing my kitchen right now, and I have kind of a tropical background. I live on the water, and I have like a tropical background. It's white, and I showed my grandson the pictures because he's 2 hours away, and he's like, "It looks like our beach house." I'm like, "Exactly."
Trying to bring
that's the goal.
To your regular house. Exactly.
Exactly.
All right, Celia. Well, before we end this episode, why don't you tell our listeners where they can find you?
Okay, so you can find me all over the web. You can go to celiakibler.com. For parenting, you go to pumpedupparenting.com. On YouTube, Pumped Up Parenting with Celia Kibler, the Pumped Up Parenting podcast. There's a lot of Pumped Up Parenting, and what's not Pumped Up Parenting, it's Celia Kibler. So Clubhouse, Celia Kibler, Instagram, Celia Kibler, I think. Oh no, Instagram's not Celia Kibler. Instagram is Parenting Toddler Expert or Parenting Toddler.
We'll make sure we get all the links in the show notes for everyone.
Just look for all that. You can reach out to me anytime. I love to talk. As you can tell, I love people, and my books are all available on celiasbooks.com. And that's my Raising Happy Toddlers and my 3 children's books, all about me. I am grateful, and being different is fun.
Amazing. Yes, I think we all need that Raising Happy Toddler book for sure. Well, this has been such a fun chat. Thank you again, Celia, for being on the Mama Work It podcast. It has been a pleasure.
Very grateful for you having me. Thank you so much.
You've been listening to the Mama Work It podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. and would love if you could take a quick minute to leave me a review on whichever platform you're listening from, and maybe even send a note to a fellow mama friend recommending it. Reviews and recs help this podcast grow and reach more like-minded, awesome moms. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click that button so we can stay in touch, girl. By the way, if you haven't checked out the Mama Work It website, please do. There are lots of free resources and great articles there that can help you with the juggle of work life, mom life, wife life, fill in the blank life. So head on over. Thanks again for being part of the tribe. I'll see you soon, but in the meantime, keep on working it, mama.